Today we need to get into people saying that Jungkook has been ruined by HYBE and what happened there. We have people coming up with rumors of Jungkook dating a man and what this is about with the documentary coming out. We also have Jin shocked over what Jungkook did. So Dumplings, it's safe to decide, hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on, grab your dumplings, hey Spling Mug merch, and let's go. We have a very cute story with Jin and Jungkook, and everyone has gone wild over everything. So what happened and what is going on? If you're not aware, BTS members have a documentary that has come out. The documentary is called BTS Monument Beyond the Stars, and it showcases a lot of the really amazing and cool parts of the relationship between each of the members. We also get to see a lot of the moments that they never really talk about before and how they felt about each other of those moments. The boys don't typically do interviews, and even when they do, it's extremely generic interviews because it's usually in English and they can't answer more nuanced questions. One of the more nuanced questions are going to be things like, how did you feel during the pandemic, and why did you go the direction that you ended up going in, which is something very important the documentary covered, which was a moment where Suga even mentioned that their initial plan during COVID was actually enlist in the military then, but they opted out of doing that for several reasons. And if they did enlist, we would not have things like Dynamite, Butter, and Permission to Dance. And to be honest, who knows if they released those things at a time after enlistment, if those songs would have had the same impact. The mixture of rising K-pop in the US mixed in with how popular they were getting in the US all tied into the reception and overall amazing performance of those songs. The documentary also talked about moments that I mentioned earlier, like the relationship between all the members. One particular interesting moment was when Jin was doing his hair right before the military. So this was his hair shaving ceremony, and he was buzzing it all off. I think he was very surprised when he found that a bunch of the other members were making an effort to be there to see it. Suga and Jungkook both appeared at the salon or wherever it was being done at, and then they were there to make jokes and make a moment a fun one. Jungkook even mentioned that he had set an alarm personally so he could make it, and Suga, I believe, was probably planning his solo stuff. It had to have been around that time, so the fact that Suga made time for Jin shows how meaningful their relationship is. Suga even mentions that monumental moments like this are very important to not miss, and I definitely agree. Moments that are as big as going to the military, which in Korea signifies manhood, and then obviously moments in the future with kids are all very big moments that your close friends should be part of. Jungkook probably wasn't doing anything around this time because I think he mentioned previously that he was just lounging around for a bit, but the fact that he made an effort to set an alarm and not lounge too much and miss it really shows their beautiful friendship together. Apparently, Tang also made sure to call in and do a FaceTime to make sure that Jin was okay and also be there even though it seemed like he couldn't physically be there. And I think this was around the time Tang was doing a lot of random stuff as well, so he might not have been in Korea. It's very easy when looking at those sorts of really beautiful friendships to almost put yourself in it as well and feel like you're a part of these beautiful things. And in a way we are because they are sharing it, but then on the other hand, we can't get too wrapped up in this idea that we know them personally and we need to fight for them on their behalf. I think when the boys are getting misunderstood, then sure, like if people are claiming Jungkook said something bad when he didn't, please come in and defend Jungkook. However, when it's something that is very ambiguous and there could be multiple things going on behind the scenes, these are not things that should be fought, but instead there's nothing anyone can do. So what happened? Recently, there's been some drama online involving Jungkook getting mistreated by HYBE. Again, everything is always being mistreated by HYBE, even if it's something that is another company or agency's fault. It's HYBE's fault because they're not publicly fighting it or whatever. And I use the word publicly because we don't know what is going on behind the scenes. I think it's interesting because in American pop or American celebrity culture, the only time stans or fans start attacking is when the celebrity is actually speaking up about the poor treatment. The fans don't make up scenarios in their head, which is insane to me how in K-pop fandoms that is a more regular thing. Recently there was an article published highlighting that ARMYs were upset at YouTube for not crediting Jungkook properly. So when a video with Jungkook's song in the background gets posted on YouTube by a regular user and it's fan-made content, apparently if you click to the description, you will see Jungkook's name and song credited there. But if it's an official video by HYBE, you don't see the credit. However, I checked even official and non-official videos and I don't see that either, so I don't know, maybe it's my browser. However, the article highlights the backlash, and my issue is when news sites do these things to pander to the fandom rather than attempt to course correct. Because a news site and a journalist writing these things need to do research on how and what the issue is, and if there is even an issue. Because it makes no sense when the fandom is upset that official videos are not credited. When people see fan-made content and that is not credited, that's a problem. Because the song can get played to random people, and if the song is not credited, people aren't going to know who it's from. But armies are upset that those videos are credited, but the official videos are not. I've never watched an official music video and then wondered what song I'm listening to. It's right there in the title. It doesn't need to be credited. And then there was an issue apparently when fans would upload Standing Next to You. Sometimes the credit or the information about the song can't appear in the video. This is a bigger problem that I can see the issue with. However, again, it makes no sense because it was also believed that users who wanted to use Jungkook's song on Instagram were also unable to find the song on Instagram. And this made the fans think that HYBE wasn't submitting the songs or they were doing something shady behind the scenes to block the song from being used or even found. This is likely not the case. The song has many hands on it, and many people credited each of Jungkook's songs. Could be even a slight possibility that the song is in a legal dispute, and HYBE cannot send or officially do anything with the song until the song is disputed. And fans love to say we've been protesting for a year with no reply. Well, yeah, legal action can take years. So that is a possibility. And of course, if that was the case, they can't tell you. So think of how annoying it is if there's something happening behind the scenes and you legally can't talk about it, but the fans demand an answer. Like, calm down. It's not that serious. And if you're not getting an answer, there's probably a reason behind the scenes. The people in charge think the fandom is so stupid because of these people. And in reality, the majority of the fandom is not stupid. They're super bright and intelligent people, but intelligent people don't take part in these things. So this is when the loud people are the minority. By the way, if you do want to join the dumpling community from the channel on reacting to Standing Next to You and many other songs, join us on Patreon. We have fun fangirling, laughing, and just having a cute moment. I will link that at the very top of the description, and we have a $1 tier that has limited spots, but is currently open. Anyway, maybe because of these people, they might feel less inclined to be a part of the fandom and love the boys, when in reality, the boys deserve all the love. There's been more moments in the documentary that have gotten trending, and people have a lot to say. For a while, there has been this rumor and theory that Jungkook and Jimin are living together. Of course, this idea is coupled with them dating and them just being together all the time. These rumors come from the fact that when either Jungkook or Jimin are being asked about each other's habits, they're aware of each other's habits. However, they have all lived together for a long time. They definitely know each other's habits even if they haven't lived with each other for many years now, because habits like how you sleep or you being late all the time don't usually change too much. There was even a moment in the documentary where Jungkook was cooking in his apartment and Jimin was there. People chalk this up to Jungkook admitting that he is dating Jimin and that this was a response to the rumors. However, this makes no sense to me. Two people can obviously cook and be with each other in an apartment, and that does not mean the two are dating. It just means that they are having fun with each other and spending time together. The boys clearly rely on each other and they want to have each other there for support. That is clear, as they have enlisted in the military together. I think this idea of making them seem romantic makes it seem like things like platonic brotherly love are just things that don't exist. And two guys can't possibly love and support each other in the way that Jimin and Jungkook have without it meaning that the two are romantically involved. And I think that has a lot of bad connotations in general, as we live in a society where Asian men are seen as feminine and gay anyway. So this further pushes that. Understanding culture is very important when we watch things like K-pop as well. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.